who really resented that because they were like, we just hired you to be an actor. Yet when I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor.
In the glitzy world of Hollywood, where image is everything and reputations are carefully curated, few scandals have rocked the entertainment industry as profoundly as the recent allegations against Blake Lively. What began as whispers behind closed doors has now erupted into a full-blown controversy, thanks to Justin Baldoni, the actor and director best known for his role as Rafael Solano on Jane the Virgin. In an exclusive interview that sent shockwaves through Tinseltown, Baldoni stepped forward with explosive claims about Lively's alleged misconduct during their time working together on an undisclosed project. The revelations painted a starkly different picture of the actress than the polished, charming persona she has cultivated over the years. This is not just another celebrity feud or tabloid drama. This is a story about power, privilege, and the dark underbelly of Hollywood. Baldoni's decision to speak out came during a candid appearance on a popular podcast, where he recounted a series of troubling incidents that allegedly occurred during production. His voice carried both conviction and frustration as he described how Lively wielded her star power like a weapon, manipulating situations to serve her interests while leaving a trail of damaged relationships in her wake. According to Baldoni, her behavior wasn't merely unprofessional, it was calculated and relentless. She didn't just ask for changes, she demanded them, he explained, his tone measured but firm. And if you didn't comply, you were out. It wasn't about improving the project, it was about control. The first bombshell dropped when Baldoni revealed how Lively allegedly orchestrated the removal of an assistant director after a minor disagreement over call times. The incident, which might seem trivial to outsiders, became emblematic of a larger pattern of behavior. Baldoni described how Lively used her influence to sideline anyone who dared challenge her authority, regardless of their position or experience. It wasn't just a clash of egos, he said. It was a systematic dismantling of anyone who stood in her way. He went on to recount witnessing multiple instances where she publicly humiliated assistants and interns, often over trivial mistakes. One particularly harrowing story involved a young production assistant who mistakenly brought her the wrong coffee order. According to Baldoni, Lively berated the individual in front of the entire crew, reducing them to tears. It wasn't just unprofessional, it was cruel, he recalled, shaking his head. And what's worse is that no one spoke up because everyone knew how much power she wielded. As Baldoni delved deeper into his account, the scope of the allegations widened, revealing a web of manipulation and retaliation that extended far beyond the set. Perhaps most explosive was his claim that Lively leveraged her connections within the industry to blacklist certain individuals who dared to challenge her authority or speak out against her behavior. There are people who worked with her who can't get jobs anymore, not because they're not talented, but because Blake made sure doors would close for them, he asserted. While Baldoni refrained from naming specific names, he hinted at a broader pattern of retribution that has gone largely unnoticed due to Lively's carefully maintained public image. This revelation struck a nerve, forcing listeners to confront uncomfortable questions about the systemic inequities that allow such behavior to persist unchecked. Adding another layer of intrigue to the scandal was Baldoni's suggestion that Lively manipulated media narratives to protect her reputation. He claimed that she had private meetings with influential journalists and editors to ensure favorable coverage while suppressing negative stories. She knows exactly how to play the game, he said, his words dripping with equal parts admiration and disdain. If someone writes something critical about her, suddenly there's this flood of puff pieces praising her kindness and professionalism. It's calculated, and it works every time. This assertion raised eyebrows across the industry, prompting speculation about whether some of the glowing profiles of Lively published over the years were genuine or part of a coordinated effort to manage her image. The timing of Baldoni's revelations added yet another dimension to the controversy. His decision to come forward coincided with growing scrutiny of toxic workplace cultures in Hollywood, spurred by movements like #MeToo and Time's Up. By speaking out now, Baldoni positioned himself as part of a larger push for accountability and transparency within the industry. However, his motivations have also been called into question. Critics argue that his comments could be seen as opportunistic, given that he is currently promoting his own projects, including a highly anticipated directorial debut. Whether his intentions are altruistic or self-serving remains a point of debate, further complicating an already tangled narrative. Despite the gravity of these allegations, reactions from both insiders and fans have been mixed. Some have rallied behind Baldoni, applauding his courage for exposing misconduct at such a high level. Others remain skeptical, pointing out that his claims lack concrete evidence and rely heavily on anecdotal accounts. Meanwhile, representatives for Blake Lively have issued a firm denial, labeling Baldoni's statements as baseless and motivated by personal grievances. They have vowed to take legal action if necessary, further escalating tensions between the two parties. As the scandal continues to unfold, one thing is clear: the allegations have shattered the illusion of perfection surrounding Blake Lively's career. For years, she has been celebrated not only for her acting talent, but also for her grace under pressure and seemingly effortless navigation of Hollywood's cutthroat environment. If Baldoni's claims hold any weight, they suggest a darker reality lurking beneath the surface, one that challenges everything we thought we knew about one of Tinseltown's brightest stars. To understand the full weight of these allegations, it's essential to delve into Blake Lively's rise to fame, a journey that reads like a quintessential Hollywood success story, yet hides complexities and contradictions beneath its glossy exterior. Born into a family deeply entrenched in the entertainment industry, her father, Ernie Lively, was a well-known actor and director, and her mother, Elaine Lively, worked as a talent manager. Blake entered the business with an inherent advantage. Her early roles in films like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants 2005 showcased her natural charisma and versatility, quickly establishing her as a promising young talent. However, it was her breakout performance in Gossip Girl 2007-2012 that catapulted her to global stardom, transforming her into a household name and setting the stage for her evolution from actress to cultural icon. Throughout her career, Lively has demonstrated a remarkable ability to navigate the delicate balance between creative integrity and commercial appeal. Unlike many actors who struggle to transition from teen idol status to serious roles, she managed this shift with relative ease, taking on challenging parts in critically acclaimed films such as The Town 2010, A Simple Favor 2018, and The Shallows 2016. These performances not only highlighted her range as an actress, but also reinforced her image as a savvy professional capable of commanding both box office success and artistic credibility. Behind the scenes, however, her ascent was far less straightforward. Industry insiders have long whispered about the lengths to which Lively went to secure plum roles, often leveraging her family's extensive network to gain access to auditions and opportunities unavailable to others. This blend of inherited privilege and relentless determination created a unique dynamic in her professional relationships, earning her both admiration and resentment among peers. Lively's interactions with co-stars and collaborators offer further insight into her personality and approach to work. On set, she has often been described as fiercely competitive, driven by a desire to outshine those around her. This trait manifested itself in subtle ways, such as meticulously preparing for scenes to ensure she delivered standout performances, as well as more overt displays of dominance, like insisting on rewrites to give her character greater depth or screen time. While some viewed these actions as signs of dedication, others saw them as evidence of a need for control that sometimes bordered on obsessive. For instance, during the filming of Gossip Girl, rumors circulated that Lively clashed repeatedly with co-star Leighton Meester over creative differences, though both parties publicly downplayed any tension. Similarly, her partnership with Ryan Reynolds, both professionally and personally, has been characterized by mutual support, but also occasional friction, particularly when their careers intersect on collaborative projects. Beyond her direct colleagues, Lively's relationship with industry power players reveals another facet of her persona, a masterful negotiator who understands the value of cultivating alliances. She has consistently aligned herself with top-tier agents, directors, and producers, ensuring that her projects receive maximum visibility and resources. This strategic positioning extends to her social circle, where she counts influential figures like Anna Wintour and Gigi Hadid among her closest confidants. Such connections have not only bolstered her career but also shielded her from criticism, creating a protective bubble that few dare to penetrate. Yet, this insulation has also contributed to perceptions of elitism, with detractors accusing her of relying too heavily on her network, rather than earning success through merit alone. One cannot discuss Lively's career without acknowledging her adeptness at managing her public image. From her early days as Serena van der Woodsen to her current status as a style icon and entrepreneur, she has cultivated a brand synonymous with elegance, intelligence, and authenticity. Social media plays a pivotal role in this endeavor, allowing her to curate a narrative that aligns with her aspirations. Her Instagram feed, for example, is a carefully crafted tableau of glamorous red carpet moments, intimate family snapshots, and promotional content for her lifestyle ventures. This curated presentation has endeared her to millions of followers, making her one of the most influential celebrities on the platform. However, critics argue that this polished facade masks a more calculating side, one that prioritizes optics over substance. Justin Baldoni's recent allegations add a new dimension to our understanding of Lively's professional demeanor. If true, they suggest that her drive for control extends beyond creative decisions to encompass interpersonal dynamics and institutional power structures. The notion that she might use her influence to manipulate outcomes or retaliate against perceived enemies paints a picture of someone willing to go to great lengths to maintain her position at the top. This interpretation contrasts sharply with the warm, relatable image she projects publicly, raising questions about the authenticity of her carefully constructed persona. At the same time, it underscores the complexities of navigating fame in an industry rife with contradictions and double standards. Ultimately, Blake Lively's journey through Hollywood reflects a delicate interplay of talent, strategy, and circumstance. Her ability to adapt to changing trends while staying true to her core identity has been instrumental in her sustained success. Yet, as Baldoni's claims bring fresh scrutiny to her methods, they force us to reconsider what lies beneath the surface of her glittering career. Whether viewed as a trailblazer or a tactician, one thing remains certain: Lively's impact on the entertainment landscape is undeniable, shaped as much by her strengths as by the controversies that continue to swirl around her. The allegations leveled by Justin Baldoni against Blake Lively have exposed systemic issues within the entertainment industry that extend far beyond the confines of this particular scandal. At the heart of these revelations lies a broader conversation about workplace culture in Hollywood, where power imbalances, hierarchical structures, and entrenched norms often create environments ripe for abuse. Baldoni's claims suggest that Lively's alleged misconduct is not merely an isolated incident but rather symptomatic of deeper systemic problems that permeate the industry. These issues manifest in various forms, from the exploitation of junior staff to the manipulation of media narratives, each contributing to a culture that prioritizes image management over accountability. One of the most glaring systemic issues highlighted by Baldoni's allegations is the pervasive power imbalance between high-profile actors and lower-ranking crew members. In Hollywood's rigid hierarchy, A-list celebrities like Blake Lively wield disproportionate influence, often dictating terms that affect everyone from directors to interns. This dynamic creates a chilling effect, discouraging subordinates from speaking out against inappropriate behavior for fear of professional repercussions. Baldoni's account of Lively allegedly orchestrating the dismissal of an assistant director and humiliating production assistants underscores how easily this power can be misused. Such actions not only undermine morale, but also perpetuate a toxic environment where individuals feel powerless to advocate for themselves. The absence of robust safeguards to protect vulnerable workers exacerbates the problem, leaving them at the mercy of those higher up the chain. Another critical aspect of the systemic dysfunction revolves around the mechanisms of accountability, or lack thereof, within the industry. Despite growing awareness of workplace misconduct, Hollywood has historically struggled to implement effective measures to address complaints. Many organizations operate under informal systems that prioritize discretion over justice, often resolving disputes quietly to avoid tarnishing reputations. Baldoni's suggestion that Lively leveraged her connections to suppress negative stories and blacklist dissenters points to a disturbing trend of silencing victims rather than addressing grievances. This practice not only shields perpetrators from consequences, but also reinforces a culture of impunity, emboldening others to engage in similar behavior. The result is a cyclical pattern where misconduct thrives because there are no meaningful deterrents to prevent it. The role of media in perpetuating these systemic issues cannot be overlooked. As Baldoni alleged, Lively reportedly engaged in strategic relationships with journalists and editors to shape public perception, ensuring that unfavorable narratives were buried under a deluge of positive coverage. This manipulation of media narratives highlights a fundamental flaw in how celebrity culture operates: the prioritization of image over truth. When powerful figures can dictate what information reaches the public, it becomes nearly impossible to hold them accountable for their actions. Moreover, the symbiotic relationship between celebrities and the press often results in complicity, with outlets reluctant to publish damaging stories for fear of losing access or advertising revenue. This dynamic further entrenches systemic inequities, allowing misconduct to fester behind closed doors while maintaining a facade of professionalism in public. Furthermore, the structure of Hollywood itself contributes to these challenges. The industry's reliance on freelance and contract-based employment leaves many workers without the protections afforded by traditional labor laws. Assistants, interns, and other entry-level employees, who are often the most vulnerable to exploitation, rarely benefit from union representation or grievance procedures. This precarious arrangement makes it easier for powerful individuals to exploit their positions without facing significant pushback. Baldoni's description of Lively allegedly targeting junior staff members aligns with patterns observed across the industry, where those at the bottom of the hierarchy bear the brunt of abusive behavior. Without structural reforms to address these vulnerabilities, the cycle of exploitation is likely to continue. The intersection of gender dynamics and power structures adds another layer of complexity to the discussion. While women in Hollywood face numerous barriers to advancement, successful female figures like Lively occupy a unique position where they must navigate expectations of likability alongside demands for assertiveness. This balancing act can sometimes lead to behaviors that mirror the very systems of oppression they seek to overcome. Baldoni's portrayal of Lively as manipulative and controlling invites comparisons to stereotypes often used to undermine women in leadership roles. However, dismissing his claims solely on these grounds risks ignoring legitimate concerns about misconduct. Instead, the focus should be on dismantling the systemic conditions that allow such behavior to flourish regardless of gender. Efforts to address these systemic issues have gained momentum in recent years, driven by movements like #MeToo and Time's Up. These initiatives have brought much-needed attention to the prevalence of harassment and abuse in the workplace, sparking conversations about reform. Yet, progress has been uneven, with resistance from entrenched interests slowing meaningful change. Baldoni's decision to speak out aligns with this broader push for accountability, though it also underscores the challenges of challenging powerful figures within the industry. His allegations serve as a reminder that systemic change requires collective action, involving not only victims and whistleblowers, but also allies, institutions and policymakers committed to creating safer, more equitable workplaces. In light of these considerations, the allegations against Blake Lively must be understood within the context of Hollywood's broader systemic failures. They reveal how power imbalances, inadequate accountability mechanisms, media complicity, and structural vulnerabilities converge to enable misconduct. Addressing these issues will require a multifaceted approach, including stronger protections for workers, transparent reporting systems, and a cultural shift that prioritizes ethical behavior over profit and prestige. Only then can the industry hope to break free from the cycles of abuse that have defined it for far too long. Blake Lively's response to the allegations brought forth by Justin Baldoni has been nothing short of a masterclass in crisis management. Within hours of Baldoni's explosive claims surfacing, Lively's representatives issued a formal statement categorically rejecting the accusations as baseless and motivated by personal grievances. The statement, released through her verified social media channels and picked up by major entertainment outlets, emphasized her commitment to professionalism and respect in all professional settings. Blake has always conducted herself with integrity and kindness on and off set, the statement read. These unfounded allegations do not reflect the reality of who she is or how she operates. To reinforce this narrative, Lively embarked on a coordinated media campaign aimed at countering Baldoni's claims while simultaneously reaffirming her status as a beloved figure in Hollywood. She appeared on a popular morning talk show just days after the allegations broke, where she addressed the controversy with a mix of grace and humor. During the segment, she acknowledged the seriousness of the situation but framed it as a misunderstanding exacerbated by the pressures of working in a high-stakes environment. Making movies is hard work, and sometimes tensions run high, she said. But I've never intentionally disrespected anyone, and I certainly wouldn't jeopardize someone's career over a disagreement. Her tone was measured, avoiding direct confrontation with Baldoni, while subtly casting doubt on the credibility of his accusations. Behind the scenes, Lively's team worked tirelessly to mitigate potential fallout from the scandal. Sources close to the actress revealed that she reached out directly to key industry figures, including producers, directors, and co-stars, to assure them of her professionalism and dispel any lingering doubts about her conduct. These private communications were reportedly accompanied by carefully curated anecdotes highlighting her generosity and leadership on past projects. For instance, she reminded collaborators of instances where she advocated for better working conditions for crew members or supported struggling colleagues during difficult times. This tactic sought to counterbalance Baldoni's portrayal of her as domineering and vindictive, presenting instead a version of Lively as a compassionate and collaborative partner. Social media played a crucial role in Lively's defense strategy, serving as both a platform for messaging and a tool for mobilizing her vast fan base. Her Instagram posts during this period were meticulously crafted to project normalcy and positivity, featuring images of her spending quality time with family, engaging in charitable activities, and promoting upcoming projects. Each caption carried undertones of resilience and optimism, subtly reinforcing her narrative of being unfairly targeted. Fans responded enthusiastically, flooding comment sections with messages of support and hashtags like #WeStandWithBlake. This groundswell of public backing helped create a buffer against further scrutiny, demonstrating the enduring strength of her brand loyalty. Legal preparations also formed a significant component of Lively's response. According to insiders, her legal team began gathering documentation and witness testimonies to refute Baldoni's claims, should the situation escalate to litigation. They reportedly focused on identifying inconsistencies in his accounts and building a timeline that contradicted his version of events. Additionally, they explored potential countersuits for defamation, though sources indicate that Lively remains hesitant to pursue legal action unless absolutely necessary. Her priority is protecting her reputation without dragging this into a prolonged public battle, one insider explained. She wants to resolve this quietly while maintaining control of the narrative. Critics, however, have questioned whether Lively's response goes far enough in addressing the substance of Baldoni's allegations. While her public statements effectively deflected immediate criticism, they stopped short of providing concrete evidence to disprove his claims. Some observers noted that her emphasis on general principles of professionalism and kindness lacked specificity, leaving room for skepticism about whether she was genuinely confronting the issues raised. Others pointed out that her reliance on pre-existing relationships and curated anecdotes risked appearing evasive rather than transparent. These critiques highlight the delicate balance Lively must strike between defending herself and avoiding actions that could inadvertently validate the allegations. Amidst these efforts, Lively has also taken steps to pivot the conversation toward more positive topics, leveraging her existing projects and philanthropic endeavors to shift focus away from the controversy. She recently announced a partnership with a prominent nonprofit organization focused on supporting women in the arts, framing it as an extension of her long-standing advocacy work. Similarly, promotional materials for her upcoming film emphasize themes of empowerment and redemption, subtly aligning her personal narrative with the movie's message. These moves demonstrate her understanding of the importance of timing and optics in managing public perception during a crisis. Ultimately, Blake Lively's response to the allegations reflects a sophisticated understanding of modern celebrity culture and the tools available to navigate controversy. By combining strategic denials with proactive public relations efforts, she has sought to neutralize the impact of Baldoni's claims while preserving her standing in the industry. Whether this approach proves sufficient in the long term remains to be seen, as the court of public opinion and potentially legal proceedings will continue to scrutinize her actions. Nevertheless, her handling of the situation thus far offers a compelling case study in how high-profile figures can leverage their resources and networks to weather storms that might otherwise derail their careers. The allegations against Blake Lively as presented by Justin Baldoni have ignited a firestorm of reactions across social media platforms, traditional news outlets and industry circles, revealing deep divisions in how the public perceives both the claims and the individuals involved. On Twitter, hashtags like #BelieveSurvivors and #SupportBlake trended simultaneously, underscoring the polarized nature of the discourse. Supporters of Baldoni praised his courage for speaking out against a powerful figure, framing his allegations as part of a broader movement to expose misconduct in Hollywood. Finally, "Someone is holding Blake accountable," tweeted one user, echoing sentiments shared by thousands. Meanwhile, Lively's defenders flooded timelines with counter-arguments, dismissing Baldoni's claims as opportunistic or exaggerated. "This feels like a publicity stunt," wrote another commenter, reflecting skepticism about his motives. Industry insiders have weighed in with varying degrees of caution and conviction. Several anonymous sources, speaking to entertainment trade publications, corroborated aspects of Baldoni's account, suggesting that Lively's alleged behavior aligns with patterns observed during her collaborations with other filmmakers and actors. One producer, who requested anonymity, told Variety that Lively's reputation for demanding script changes and influencing casting decisions is well known behind the scenes, though rarely discussed publicly. "She's not the easiest person to work with, but she gets results," the source admitted. Whether that excuses her methods is another question entirely. Conversely, others have rushed to Lively's defense, describing her as a consummate professional whose contributions to projects often go unrecognized. "Blake brings a level of dedication that elevates everyone around her," argued a director who has worked with her in the past. "To paint her as some kind of tyrant is grossly unfair." Traditional media outlets have approached the story with a mix of sensationalism and investigative rigor. Tabloids like the Daily Mail and Page Six have seized on the salacious details of the allegations, running headlines that emphasize drama and conflict. "Blake Lively's dark side exposed," blared one cover, capturing the frenzied interest in the scandal. Meanwhile, more reputable outlets like the New York Times and the Hollywood Reporter have taken a step back, analyzing the broader implications of the allegations and questioning whether they represent isolated incidents or symptoms of systemic issues within the industry. These contrasting approaches highlight the dual nature of media coverage in celebrity scandals, the tension between amplifying controversy for clicks and providing thoughtful analysis for readers seeking deeper understanding. Public reaction has been equally divided. Among Lively's fanbase, there is palpable disbelief that the actress they admire could behave in such a manner. Many have taken to social media to defend her, citing her charitable work and seemingly down-to-earth personality as evidence of her good character. "Blake has always been so kind and genuine," wrote one fan on Instagram. "I refuse to believe these lies." Others, however, have expressed disappointment, feeling betrayed by the disparity between her public image and the allegations now coming to light. "I wanted to believe she was different," confessed another commenter, but maybe no one is above scrutiny. Within the entertainment industry itself, reactions have been more muted but no less complex. Colleagues who have worked closely with Lively are caught in a difficult position, torn between loyalty to a peer and acknowledgement of the seriousness of the allegations. Some have chosen to remain silent, wary of being drawn into a highly charged situation. Others have offered tepid defenses, praising her work ethic while sidestepping direct commentary on the claims. "Blake is incredibly talented and driven," said one co-star. "That doesn't mean she's perfect, but I think it's important to separate art from artist." Such equivocations underscore the challenges of navigating public discourse when accusations of misconduct arise. Perhaps most telling is the response from advocacy groups and industry watchdogs. Organizations like Time's Up and Women in Film have refrained from making definitive statements about the allegations, instead using the moment to highlight ongoing issues of workplace misconduct and power imbalances in Hollywood. Regardless of the specifics of this case, it's clear that systemic change is needed to ensure safe and equitable environments for all workers. Read a joint statement from several advocacy groups. Their measured tone reflects an awareness that high-profile scandals often overshadow the broader conversations about reform that they aim to advance. As the dust begins to settle on the immediate aftermath of the allegations, the long-term impact on Blake Lively's career remains uncertain. While some may view the controversy as a temporary setback, others see it as a potential turning point that could reshape her legacy. If history is any indication, the outcome will depend largely on how effectively she navigates the ongoing scrutiny and whether meaningful steps are taken to address the systemic issues her case has brought to light. For now, the scandal serves as a stark reminder of the complexities inherent in holding powerful figures accountable in an industry built on image and influence. The Blake Lively scandal, as exposed by Justin Baldoni, represents far more than a personal dispute between two Hollywood figures. It serves as a microcosm of the broader issues plaguing the entertainment industry. At its core, this controversy underscores the pervasive imbalance of power that defines Hollywood's inner workings, where star power often trumps ethical conduct and accountability. Lively's alleged behavior, as described by Baldoni, illustrates how individuals in positions of authority can exploit systemic vulnerabilities to maintain control, silence dissent, and manipulate narratives. These actions are not anomalies, but rather reflections of entrenched practices that have long enabled misconduct to thrive unchecked. The scandal forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the mechanisms that sustain inequality and abuse within the industry, from hierarchical structures that marginalize junior staff to opaque systems of accountability that protect the privileged. One of the most significant lessons emerging from this case is the urgent need for systemic reform. The allegations against Lively highlight how power imbalances, compounded by inadequate safeguards for vulnerable workers, create environments ripe for exploitation. Junior staff members, freelancers, and interns, who form the backbone of production teams, are often left without recourse when faced with mistreatment. Their precarious positions make them easy targets for retaliation, as evidenced by Baldoni's claims of blacklisting. To address this, the industry must adopt comprehensive measures to protect workers, including standardized grievance procedures, independent oversight bodies, and stronger legal protections for whistleblowers. Without such reforms, the cycle of abuse will persist, perpetuating a culture where fear overrides fairness. Moreover, the scandal underscores the critical role of media in shaping public perception and accountability. Lively's alleged manipulation of journalists and editors to suppress negative coverage reveals how deeply intertwined celebrity culture and media operations are. This symbiotic relationship often prioritizes image management over truth, allowing powerful figures to evade scrutiny. Breaking this cycle requires a fundamental shift in how media outlets approach reporting on high-profile individuals. Greater transparency, stricter editorial standards, and a commitment to investigative journalism can help dismantle the barriers that shield misconduct from public view. The media's role as a watchdog must be fortified to ensure that accountability remains a cornerstone of celebrity culture. The broader implications of this case also extend to the ongoing fight for equity and inclusion in Hollywood. Movements like #MeToo and Time's Up have made significant strides in bringing attention to workplace misconduct, yet resistance from entrenched interests continues to slow meaningful progress. The Lively scandal demonstrates that even in an era of heightened awareness, systemic inequities persist. Addressing these disparities requires collective action, from industry leaders implementing policy changes to rank-and-file workers advocating for safer environments. Allies within the industry must also step forward to amplify marginalized voices and challenge the status quo. Real change will only occur when all stakeholders commit to dismantling the structures that enable abuse. Ultimately, the Blake Lively controversy serves as a catalyst for reflection and reform. It exposes the cracks in Hollywood's foundation, revealing how power, privilege, and protectionism intersect to perpetuate harm. By shining a light on these issues, the scandal presents an opportunity to reimagine the industry's future, one rooted in accountability, transparency, and equity. The path forward will not be easy, requiring courage, collaboration, and unwavering commitment to justice. But if the lessons of this case are heeded, it could mark the beginning of a transformative era for Hollywood, where creativity flourishes not despite ethical standards, but because of them.